On the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast, a lot of Trump news. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Antifa, Muslim Brotherhood, Ron DeSantis. We've got a packed show today. We've got a lot of clips, a lot to say. So get ready because it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. We've got a packed show. It's Monday. I hope your weekend was fantastic. Mine was nice. My daughter actually went through the sacrament of confirmation. She did it late in life. She was a senior. She's a senior in high school. Usually that's something that's done a lot earlier. But when COVID hit, everything in terms of the study and the process of getting her confirmation was backburnered. And so I got to give credit to my wife. My wife kept on my daughter because, you know, when the kids are in high school, the last thing they want to do is go through all the retreats and all the processes and whatever. And not because it doesn't have an abundance of faith. She certainly does. It's just because at the end of the day, she is a teenager. But my wife, yesterday when we were at church, she was going through her confirmation. She leaned over to me and she said, "Your daughter is going to be so happy one day that I pushed her." And I said, "I know that." So we had a really lovely day there yesterday doing that. And that was it was beautiful. They've redone the church. The church is just so gorgeous. And it was such a nice day yesterday to have multiple times of prayer. I always do my prayers in the morning and at night. And I had it during the day as well. So we had a pretty packed show here today. We got a lot of clips. Ryan put together a lot of clips just to give you an indication, Ryan, so you could get ready. The first clip that we are going to wind up playing when it is time is from the Trump administration on Fox News about the EBD cards, just so you get that together. But let me just give you a couple of notices here as the crowd comes rolling in here. I'm going to ask you, please, if you haven't already, hit the share button. If you're on Rumble, hit the share button. If you're on Facebook, and of course, if you're Team DML and using the DML News app, there's no share needed there. We put the alert out and just sit back and listen and enjoy the program. A few announcements right off the bat. I want to get them out of the way so I don't forget. Number one, starting this week, the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast, also known as the DML News podcast, is going 5 days. So it will be 2 days live, 2 days with interviews, and then on day 5, Friday, will be what we call the short story. And we just did our first one Friday past, and it was a 12-minute lesson. This one was about Ellis Island. It was real. I got a lot of great feedback on it. So we are going 5 days a week, and that will last forever and ever. When the new year comes around, then we will be doing it. So this way we have 5 days of live shows. Even the interviews will be live. So that's that. Kind of put that in there to you. Number two, many people are now finally figuring out how to get our unbelievably great venue of newsletters. We have the 47 report, we have the DML report, and we have the DML health newsletter. Those three. And we switched providers on who sends out our emails. So in that conversion, which happened a couple months back, it's a difficult process to do that. So anyway, if you were getting our newsletter and you haven't been getting it, and you're like, yeah, I wondered what happened with that, go to DML360.com, DML360.com, and when you sign up there, you'll be getting the 47 report every single day. You get the DML report on Friday, and you'll get the DML health newsletter over the weekend. And that will be that. That's good. And then last but not least, as you know, last week, the GOP, led by Mitch McConnell, absolutely destroyed the hemp and CBD business. There is 1 year left until it is completely out of business. But I can tell you that the farmers come planting season, not going to be planting hemp. And they know this at the GOP because what farmer is going to plant a crop where people are bailing out? Because Mitch McConnell has created it where not only the stuff that gets you intoxicated is gone, but the good stuff like what we offer that does not get you intoxicated is going to be basically destroyed. And I've explained this already, but the great little stuff that we sell, the Ferrari that helps people with so many different ailments. I'm not going to sit here and list every single last one of them, but I mean, at the top of the list, you can't sleep. You got aches and pains. You got a low immune system. You want to boost. You got anxiety. You got skin issues. I mean, how, you want to sleep through the night. That's the number one thing for me. I can tell you right now. They've made it so instead of having a bottle this big, you would have to get a bottle that is basically the size of not even a thumbnail. Nobody's going to do that. So we have decided that we've had a beautiful long run. We've helped a lot of people, tens of thousands of lives change. And so I'm going to jam it back into the scum who want big pharma and big alcohol and big weed to win. So I have done very well through this CBD business, and I am giving back not only to my customers, but to people who couldn't afford this sort of stuff because it is so expensive. And I'm just selling it now. I'm selling off all of our inventory below my cost in many cases, or at my cost in other cases. I mean, the lesser products, the face serum and stuff that don't cost as much to make, is still quality, pretty much at my cost. But I mean, this bottle here, this is my flagship, DML CBD Power. We sell this for $179. I cannot keep this on the shelves because it is so impactful, so effective in helping people with so many different things, including the list I just gave you. In fact, the guy who I gave this formula to, I created this formula and I gave him the formula. And, I remember not so long ago, we had to order 5,000 bottles. And then it was like a week later. And then I said, hey, I need another couple thousand bottles. He goes, what are you doing? Are you giving this stuff away? I said, no. I said, people know they can trust me and they're using it and it's effective and it's growing like wildfire because people don't want to use the toxins that are coming from pharmaceuticals anymore. Well, this bottle and all the other bottles you could get for $20. I'm jamming it back up their arse, if you will. Think of it that way. It's my way of giving back to you. I'm going to lose a couple of bucks on it. Believe me when I tell you, but I don't care. My exit ramp on this is going to be helping my fellow Americans. I am tired of Americans getting screwed. The number one cost in this country right now, which the GOP, and to be quite honest, our president is not putting enough energy into, one-fifth of this country is allocated to health care. And it costs, you got to go get a CT scan. You're not going to get it because it costs so much money. Why? It's taking images. Give me a break. It's amazing. I could make a movie. I can make a Hollywood-based movie on my cell phone. I don't need to have the $250,000 camera anymore. I could just do it on a cell phone. So you're going to tell me the CT scans and the MRI images, we got to be paying $5,000, $7,000 for that? BS. These companies are making so much money on it. So you know what? We need to push back, and it starts here. So if you go to dmlcbd.com until I run out of all the inventory we have, you could get anything on that website for $20. There's only one thing that you can't, and that's the big, huge bottle of the 6.7. We usually sell this for $200. Again, can't keep it on the shelves. Now you could get it for $75. And like I said, all this stuff is at my cost or below my costs. I don't care. It's all for you. God bless you, and I hope I help you. That's at dmlcbd.com. You do not have to be an existing customer. If you buy somebody else's CBD to this point, you should come on over and get a Ferrari for basically a skateboard cost. Okay, with that said, I think we could ramp into this now, Ryan. So Donald J. Trump announced, although he did not give a date, let me read this to you from the 47 report from our newsletter that just went out this morning. President Trump reaffirmed that his proposed $2,000 tariff dividend check for American citizens are on the way, although he didn't state that a final rollout date had been set yet. So I guess they're not really on the way yet, but that's the way Trump talks. The president clarified that the payments won't arrive before Christmas shopping season, saying he now plans to issue them in 2026 as he heads into a challenging midterm cycle. So I don't know if this is by design or because it's going to take too long. I have no idea, but I think this is a smart play on Trump's behalf because giving out $2,000 right now, it's just going to wind up going into Amazon's pocket. Everybody's going to get that money. They're going to spend it on Christmas gifts. And I am telling you, as your friend, as a trusted ally, we are about to hit some very, very choppy, bumpy waters. The economy, I know Trump wants to say that the economy is just like ready to soar. I take a bit of a different position. My fears, the more I listen to other people who are experts in the space of AI, they are warning that jobs are going to be hard to find. And they are going to be laying people off. And when that happens, people don't have money to spend. So this will hurt Trump come midterms. So maybe, just maybe, that $2,000 check will help some. And maybe along the line, maybe his staff starts coming up with some programs that can cut the cost of health care. You know, I can't be doing it alone. And we can get the economy and money into people's pockets. And I don't mean the $2,000 is a nice thing to have, but it's not going to be enough. People need jobs. People need the cost of living in the United States to be lowered. It is really the number one topic that people buzz about, notwithstanding the idiots on the right who keep on talking about Israel, who talk about all this other different nonsense stuff we don't need to talk about. We need to figure out America first, America only. How do we push that agenda so this way the American citizen can get the most out of their citizenship, can get the most out of this life, can get the most out of this country? That's where I want to see the energy placed. And I think people want that energy placed there as well. And if Trump could get people $2,000 checks, it's going to help at a time when we're going to need that help. At the same time although I admire our president and I hope that he is going to get this done, let's not forget that we were told back in February that we were all going to get $5,000 checks because of the dollar amount that Doge under Elon Musk was saving us. But the Republicans and the Democrats and the courts killed that whole thing. So we didn't get that check. So let's see whether or not people in America do actually get a $2,000 check. That would be a big thing. And I tell you, Trump needs it. As I've explained to you before, the Rasmussen poll is probably the most Trump-friendly poll that there is in the country. The Rasmussen poll, which you could get every single day on the 47 report at DML360.com, has the president right now at a pretty low number for him, and that is a 44% approval, 56% disapprove. So the president has to start taking a lot of steps to get things better for people. People got to be able to see, touch, and feel his improvements. We just can't keep on looking at the border and saying, hey, look at the border, this was good. Unfortunately, the way this country is operating is, what are you doing for me lately? What are you doing for me today? Okay, you got my border secure. Okay, you've got a temporary peace deal in the Middle East. What are you doing for me? You know, the cost of living here is too much. So if the president wants to get his approval rating up, I think he has to focus completely and 100% on domestic issues. He has to really take America first, America only, and make it everything that comes out of his mouth every single day. Now, with that said, one of the other things that the Trump administration has to do, in the same way that they have been highly effective at ending the BS asylum fraud game, you know, and I want to be brutally clear here. I have vowed to make it so this way this program is always going to identify the issues that we face and how they need to be solved. Just kicking the can around and having a lot of buzz talk and rumor mills. I mean, if you want me to sit here and talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson and all these other different people today, I'm going to bring up Greene because she made news. But I'm not into the rumor mill. I could care less, you know, and the people I talk to on a daily basis are struggling, and those who aren't struggling fear that they soon will be because they don't see things going as planned. And so we need to take the advancements that we can take to get rid of the fraud without the Democrats getting in our way, and there are ways to do it. We're going to talk about a little bit of it here today. We have to start doing it, and we have to do it on rapid freaking pace, because the 2026 midterm elections are going to be upon us lickety-split. I mean, think about this. Next week is Thanksgiving. How the hell did that happen? It was just August. I was just on vacation. You know, we are going to wind up seeing the next few months are going to fly by, and before you know it, it's going to be like, wow, it's right on top of us. And if people aren't feeling like they are getting something out of this presidency, they are going to take it out on Trump and his administration come 2026. And we will have not only a president who's going to be impeached on day one if we lose the House, but we're going to have a president who's going to be impeached and removed if we lose the Senate. If we get freaking shellacked. And don't forget this. Don't forget how history repeats itself. When Barack Obama took the presidency in 2008, he had both sides. He had the House, he had the Senate. He decided to go and put in Obamacare, and it was a long, long haul. And people saw that the promises he made, the people on the left, he said he was going to give amnesty, he was going to do all this different stuff. He didn't get it done. He took too long. It was too slow going. Thank goodness for us. And Obamacare was everything to him, everything to him. And people looked up and said, I don't like what he's done. He hasn't done anything here really good for me. And then what happened? Well, they basically made him a lame duck. That will happen again. They got shellacked. That's the word that Obama used. We don't want to get shellacked. And the only way to not be shellacked is you have to give people money. And I don't mean for free. I mean through opportunity. You've got to lower their costs. You've got to create new jobs. You've got to make it, morning in America once again. Not morning in Israel, not morning in Ukraine, not morning in Japan. It's morning in America. That's what we need. Now, with that said, one of the steps that the Trump administration can take greatly is fixing this broken, fraudulent EBT, or better known as SNAP, or food stamps program. The amount of fraud is earth-shattering. And, there's a difference between watching people cross over the border and get asylum and going to the food mart and looking at people fill up their baskets with garbage and crap and knowing that you are not only paying for your food, but you're paying for the baskets for the people who are online pulling out a SNAP card. And then to add insult to injury, knowing that those people in many different cases are illegal aliens, it's enough to pull your hair out. And then what people say is, why hasn't anything been done about this? Well, it looks like the Trump administration, after all this government shutdown and the highlight being on the EBT program, it looks like the Trump administration finally has figured out we got to do something about this. And so now what they're doing, apparently, is making all of the tens of millions of people who are on the government teat getting SNAP, they all have to reapply, or at least that's what they're saying, because the amount of fraud that has been brought to the front, the light has shined on it, is incredible. In our first clip here is the Trump administration official telling telling Newsmax about the fraud that has been found. Take a listen.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. It's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then. And okay. I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
That sounds very promising. I mean, very promising. The idea that you've got all those dead people getting SNAP benefits, and the amount of illegal aliens getting SNAP benefits, and the amount of people who are lying and cheating to get SNAP benefits. We're going to show you 3 videos here. We're going to start with a migrant who has been on SNAP for 23 years. How in heaven's name did we allow that to happen? You got the video, Ryan? The woman with the shopping cart? Which SNAP video do you have ready? Okay, we'll do a different one. So there is a woman in New Jersey, and she finds it hysterical that her SNAP benefits have been adding up and adding up and adding up. And she plays for her friend, and this is not AI, she plays for her friend the recording of what her SNAP benefits are, ready and available for her. It is going to freak you out. Play it.
Thank you for calling New Jersey EBT customer service. For English, press 1. Para español, for EBT, press 1. Enter the last 4 digits of your phone. Enter your PIN. Your SNAP balance is $23,235.
So there you go. $23,000 balance. A $23,000 balance for a SNAP recipient. You explain to me why anybody would have $23,000 on a SNAP card. And then they're laughing about it. That's your money. That is your money. It's my money being wasted, and the garbage that they're buying on it. Now, like I said, riddled with fraud. Here's a woman, another woman, who explains how it is that you can just simply lie and get yourself a SNAP card. Go.
I'm trying to figure out why the people so mad about food stamps. And it's only the palm color people. Like, literally, if you want food stamps, just apply and lie. That's it. Apply and lie. You see how they be stealing from us? Steal from them. Literally, you can have a 9 to 5, a 5 to 10, a 10 to 12 job and still get that EBT. Just tell them you don't work. That's it. Just tell them you don't work and you gonna get the funds. I've been doing it. I'm gonna still keep doing it. I'm gonna forever do it. Catch me if you can.
So all you have to do is just apply and lie. Apply and lie. Now, can you imagine if you applied and lied? Right? Because first of all, you wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I mean, think about what has to happen. You got the application in front of you, and you say, all right, I got to lie about this. And there's a certain aspect. Well, I shouldn't even say that. There's a certain person who doesn't care that they lie, cheat, and steal and take away from somebody else. It's a culture. And we know the majority of people who get caught up in that probably come from broken homes and never had anybody teaching them between right and wrong, between good and bad, between understanding that, you have to be accountable. And if you're a person of faith, you would never do that sort of thing, right? So another example of how it is that the family unit being broken up in this country, as it has been, the fatherless homes, and how we've basically stripped God out of the daily life of everybody. This is why this is allowed to, and then of course just fraud. The government allows fraud to go wild in this country. Nobody seems to care. And you know why nobody seems to care in Washington, D.C.? Let me be very direct with you. Which camera is looking at me right now? This one? Okay. Let me be very direct with you as to why this happens. Because they're playing with your money. I guarantee you every single one of these people in Washington, D.C., from the top down, if this was their money, exclusively their money that was going to this stuff, they'd put a stop to it. But they don't, because it's your money. And they really don't give a rat's ass. They really don't. That's why term limits have to be in here, but that's a completely different show. I am going to have somebody in the coming weeks, a whole show dedicated to the importance of term limits and how we could go about getting it. It's going to be a great show when we have it. But to add insult to injury, I go back to the first video. Ryan now has it ready. Not only do you have lying Americans, but then you got lying illegal aliens going food shopping on your dollar. Play it, Ryan.
Milk, bread.
By the third week of the month, Maritza Nelson's $240 in food stamps has run out, leaving her $9 in cash and 7 people to feed.
Zero on the food stamp and $4 in child support. That's what I got.
Yet the 50-year-old single mother who entered the U.S. by swimming across the Rio Grande has government-funded housing, medication, and $700 a month in Social Security. She's been on assistance for 20 years and wants others to know that help.
I mean, how do you not just scream out loud? And this is why I get so pissed off. This is a side note, and I'm not going to go too deep on this. Drop my pen. All these other podcasters, all fighting about Israel, fighting about, garbage. And our country's drowning. Why isn't everybody shining a light on this? Why do I feel like it's just me putting all the light on the areas that matter most? Does nobody care anymore? Is it all so much about clicks and ratings and how many likes you have? Every time that Tucker Carlson or one of these other, and I'm not picking on Tucker, I'm using him as an example because, every single time those people post something that's outrageous on X, they get paid by X. So think about this for a second. This is why you continue to struggle and there's nobody fighting for you. I'm fighting for you. I'm here. They put a post up about the fraud or how EBT works, and they'll get moderate clicks. But if they start a fight by calling out somebody else and going about Israel, well, it's trending. They'll make double the money. So if you're in the business of purely caring only about how much money you make from your microphone and camera, what would you be posting all day? Boring stuff about EBT? Or about the hatred going on between this personality and that personality? That's why our country is in so much trouble. That's why our enemies take great advantage of us, because they know that so many Americans, including those who are supposed to be smart and educated and at the top, have their heads up their asses. So one of the things that has been the big, huge fight, one of the things that I have been continuously saying, why are we focusing on this, are the Epstein files. As if these Epstein files are going to come out, and before you know it, the paddy wagon's going to come, and Trump's going to be in shackles, his feet, his hands, is going to be gagged, the whole 9 yards. They're going to put him in prison for the next 500 years. That's the way you would swear things are going to unfold if we could just get into those files. Nothing's going to come of this. You realize this, right? Because I realize this. You realize that nothing ever comes of anything, right? Nothing ever comes of everything, because both the left and the right in that whole little, gang of fools, they all protect each other. They all talk big for their C-SPAN clips. They all talk big when they're on CNN and Fox News, and they're all tough and rough. But when it comes down to getting on the playing field, nobody ever gets in trouble. Have you ever noticed that? Why do you think that is? It's because they all protect each other. You don't screw me, I won't screw you. We're just going to talk negative about each other. The same thing in the media. One of my favorite all-time photographs. How many times have you heard Sean Hannity scream and yell about CNN? And then I always used to play all the time. Maybe one day we'll pick up the picture again, Ryan. Look for it. Search on your computer. Don Lemon and Sean Hannity selfie photo. Like they're best friends forever. But then when they get on television, although Don's gone, when they get on television, they scream about each other because it brings in freaking revenue. Brings in revenue. So Trump has figured out, finally, thankfully, that the best way to kill the Epstein file nonsense is to let the freaking thing be released. This is the statement he put out. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetuated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat showdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein, are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc., and their relationship to Epstein, and the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point. That would be nice. Which is the economy, affordability, where we are winning big. Sorry, Mr. President, I disagree with you on that one. Our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history to practically nothing. Well, it's not practically nothing, but he has done a great job from getting it to 9-3. From the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax credits, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, which is a record, he says, the rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone, and so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. So I like the president's position here. I like him saying, let's turn the tide. Let's get this thing, get it out of the way, put it up there. We're going to have some bad press for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then we move on. The difference here is that, and this is where the president falls into trouble, I think, with voters. I think this is why we saw a landslide loss in November when we just lost seats to people who are radical Muslims and people who threaten to kill Republicans and their kids. People don't care because they said at the end of the day, I don't care. MAGA is not working for me. And so we have to figure out ways to accelerate. And what we can't do, And I think where Trump is making his huge mistake, and he's been making a lot of mistakes, and I would love for him to please listen to me, because everybody else is just yesing him to death or talking about Israel. That's really what it comes down to. Here's where I have problem with what it is that the president is saying. He is saying that he brought down inflation, and he did, but he hasn't gotten it near zero. It's still there, and we could do more to bring it down, okay? So when he talks like we've done it, we've accomplished it, mission accomplished, people say, whoa, that's all you're giving? We need to do more. So he's got to change the way that he puts these things out, in my opinion, okay? Gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, people who are educated in this say, wait a second, you just did a deal with Saudi Arabia for AI. You did one with the Middle East for AI. Why are we taking money in from the Arabs? Why are we taking it in from the Muslims? Why are we taking it in from these people who host terrorism? So that's when I look online, when I hear people, when they talk about their concerns, and nothing here addresses healthcare. Healthcare. I can tell you I live in a pretty beautiful home. It's beautiful. If you walked in here, you'd say, my goodness, Dennis, this is such a beautiful home. My mortgage, okay, I now have at this point a $500,000 mortgage. My mortgage costs me less than my health insurance does each year. My health insurance costs more than my property taxes do each year. Health care is the number one cost to me every single year. And people are tired of it. Because then on top of that, you got to pay your copay. And it's just not working. And so we've got to put our energy into that. If we don't put our energy into that, we're in trouble. We're in trouble because people are just going to keep on looking up and saying, you could tweet all you want. Great. The Epstein list is behind us. Fantastic. Couldn't wait for the day. Now can we get? What other scandals do we have to get past to get to the real stuff? And I don't blame that on Trump. I blame that on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I blame that on everybody else in Congress. Why isn't everybody talking about the things that we need? We're still battling about Israel. Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? Speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, somebody who was a staunch fighter for American values and for America first is now repositioning herself. She's going from being that freaking pit bull that never lets go of an issue to now trying to be a white dove that makes everybody happy, both on the left and on the right, and she's going to fly around like a peaceful dove. Well, let me tell you what I've learned in this life. Sadly, if you try to make everybody happy, you're going to end up only being miserable. You can't do it. You got to pick a side. She had a side, and now she's dropped that side. Here's Trump being confronted about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the ridiculousness of her new self. Go.
Greene said her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, he says.
Marjorie Traitor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
Well, her children do, and I'm sure some of her constituents and fans do. And we don't want anybody to ever have the sort of fate that Charlie Kirk had, right? We don't want psychos coming out of the woodwork. But here's the part about Marjorie Taylor Greene that frustrates me to no end, and everybody who still supports her. She is what you call an attention whore. I hate to use the word, but that's what it is. She is an attention whore. She cares only about seeing herself on television and getting shares on social media. And if she were to put that kind of concern into the real problems that we have, she throws up a bill here, she throws up a bill there. But if you haven't noticed, she is now aligning herself with the same people who she's been calling out for years, which means that her call outs were all BS because it was giving her high approval ratings. Now she's going on The View. Now she's going to CNN. So let me ask you, if you're now in a fight with the president, if the president has turned on you Don't you sit there and look in the mirror and say, why is the president turning on me? What am I saying? What am I doing? Even if I don't agree with him, I should still align with him because he is the leader of our party. So do you call up Jesse Waters and say, hey, Jesse, can you put me on Fox News so I could talk about this? No. Instead, she goes on CNN. She is going on the freaking arch enemies network to talk about Trump. It's like pouring gasoline onto a raging fire. She knows it, but what she's trying to do is she's trying to move to the middle because she wants to announce a presidency run against J.D. Vance and others who are also going to be on there. Because let me tell you something, if Trump continues with a 44% approval rating, if we can't get healthcare changed, if we can't get the economy really thriving and more money in people's pockets, if we can't fix some of the other issues we're going to talk about here today, J.D. Vance is going to have himself a hill to climb. And there are going to be people in the Republican Party who are going to try to fill that opportunity. Oh, trust me when I tell you. Okay, so that said, here is Marjorie Taylor Greene on CNN apologizing for when she was a pit bull. Go.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another. And we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then. And okay. I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
You know, look, I can only speak for myself. Let me tell you a few things for certain that you can always bank on. And I think you'd probably agree with this. What I say about myself here should be blanketed to every single last person who calls themselves a conservative. First and foremost, you don't go on CNN. You don't give CNN ratings. That keeps them in business. Number two, you do not apologize. You do not apologize for coming out hard against the Democrats who have been calling Trump and his supporters Nazis. They say we're Hitler. They say we're Nazis. They say we're racists. They say we're horrible people. You don't go on CNN and say, well, I'm sorry. Are you kidding me? It's the rhetoric of a Dana Bash that winds up getting Charlie Kirk killed. The Democrats are constantly attacking people. The Democrats are out there using the most ugliest of terminology. They don't care about everybody's well-being or anybody's well-being for that matter if you're on the right. And so she's going to sit there like a little coward, little freaking attention whore and say, oh, yeah, well, I really apologize. I just want to reach out and, enough of all this bad, ugly rhetoric. Are you kidding me? She thinks she's Mother Teresa. She's a cheating you-know-what. Okay, on the same time she's sitting there, right? Oh, my life is being put at risk. I'm getting death threats. She's full of shit. Oh, I'm the death threats. Really? Death threats? You're so worried about it? Let me tell you something. Go look at her X feed. You know what she put up over the weekend? Pictures of herself in a pool, barely dressed, lumping all over and humping all over her boyfriend. Okay, if you're afraid for your life, if you're really getting death threats, if you are in a situation where you think the temperature is boiling, this is what you are told to do in each and every single last incident. Back off. Let time and the problem fade off. How many times have you seen Tucker Carlson when he was on Fox, Megyn Kelly, Jesse Waters, Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, whenever they get in trouble with something, if they've said something they shouldn't have said, if it's getting a little too hot, if somebody's percolating a freaking death threat against them, they suddenly go on vacation. Have you ever noticed that? They suddenly go on vacation. You don't hear from them for 2 weeks. They go low. They let the boiling water simmer back down, and then they come back in quietly. Not her. She wants to keep pointing the camera at herself. She thinks she looks great. She thinks she sounds great. She's so into herself. And all she's doing is hurting. She's hurting our chances of ever sustaining a conservative stronghold on this country. I hope she gets primaried, and I hope she's gone. I really do. Now, back to Trump. Here's another problem I have that I think needs to be addressed, Mr. President. You could get this out of the 47 report today. Again, DML 360, sign up for the free newsletter. The Trump administration has formally designated 4 European Antifa cells as terrorist organizations. Its first international classifications following the White House's decision to label the U.S.-based branch of the far-left network a domestic terror group. State Department announced 4 radical leftist Antifa groups in Germany, Greece, and Italy will now be on the terror organization list. I have a question. It's a huge question, and it is massive, and it is directed directly to President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Antifa is definitely made up of very bad far-left people. Many of them are blue hair, earrings in places that earrings don't go, clueless, probably on massive medications. But if you told me that I only had one set of handcuffs and I can put it on the Antifa chicken who covers his face and walks around outside an ICE facility, or I can put the handcuffs on a terrorist that is part of the Muslim Brotherhood, I don't even pause 1 second. I put the handcuffs on the Muslim Brotherhood. And for some reason, this president, this State Department will not name the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization, even though they are terrorizing the entire world and taking over this country from within. We're giving them the keys to the palace. And if you don't believe me, here's the segment of the show that's just going to send your hair on the back of your neck straight up. Mamdani, who is now the mayor-elect, Trump is going to have him to the White House. And Trump's going to play all nice with them. And the people who wear the MAGA hat way too tight are going to say, oh, yeah, you keep your enemies closer than you do your friends. Okay, that's not how it works. All right? The president is going to have to make a decision real soon. He's going to have to decide whether or not he wants to give the mayor security clearance. I think this is probably one of, if not the most dangerous decisions Trump will have to make. This is as important as the decision of, do I take out the nuclear arsenal that I think Iran has built? We have a terrorist sympathizer about to take over our nation's biggest city. Now, I don't know if you remember on 9/11, other than the 3,000 people who died, who I never forget on any single day. But do you remember what happened to the financial markets? Do you remember the collapse? If you want to get rid of Trump, if you want to get a Democrat in the White House, and that's what the Muslim Brotherhood wants, the Muslims want the Democrats in power because they recognize that the power that the Democrats hold is very weak. They don't care about the things that you and I do. They align with the Muslim radicalists. And so you will hear it every time. Dinesh D'Souza, I didn't see the movie yet. I'll wait for it to be on my television one night and I'll play it. But he just did a whole movie about Muslim takeover in the United States. And one of the clips that I saw circulating on social media was that he was interviewing a cleric of some kind, a Muslim cleric, and the Muslim cleric said, I don't understand what the American people don't understand. We don't align with the left. The left is for gays. We're not for gays, but we will partner with the left because we know that we can penetrate the United States far easier. We know we could take advantage of them far easier than we can on the right. There you go. So Trump is going to have to decide whether or not he gives security clearance to Mamdani. Mamdani's going to say he needs it in order to keep the New York City people safe. But trust me when I tell you, that's not why he wants it. He wants it because it's going to wind up being a back channel to Al-Qaeda. It's going to be a back channel to Iran, a back channel to ISIS, a back channel to all the cells that are operating here in the United States and who are now going to be moving in huge numbers to New York City. So Trump's going to have himself one hell of a decision. Now, to just kind of layer in the visual for what I'm talking about here, how much New York City is about to be fundamentally changed inside out and upside down, Ryan's got a video. It's going to show you that now the New York City Police Department is showing its female officers how it is that they can wear a hijab. Play it.
So I'm going to give a little example.
So ideally, there's different ways, by the way. You can fit it how you want to, but you can take one side short, one side long, right? And then you put it over and over around your face. And some ladies get creative. You can put a pin. I freestyle everything I do, as you can see. And then I just tuck it in right here. And you wrap it around to your quarters. Make sure your bosom is covered. There's different ways, but this is the most simple way that you can wear it.
Interesting comment looking here on both Rumble and on Facebook. This one comes in from Cheryl Quinn. She writes, Mamdani is going to go to the White House and kiss Trump's ass, then laugh behind his back, then stab him. Cheryl, you win the Smart Person of the Day Award. You win the Team DML Smart Person of the Day Award. That is exactly what that's called, Cheryl. It's called taqiyya. So taqiyya in the Muslim space is the ability for you to lie, cheat, and steal, do whatever it is that you have to do, kill, to advance civil jihad. And the Prophet Muhammad says you can do taqiyya. He has been pulling this freaking sheet over everybody's eyes with his big, huge smile. And he's going to go to the White House. Trump's going to meet him. And don't say he won't. Let's keep in mind that Trump just met with a known terrorist that had a $10 million bounty on his head for 13 years. Now the president of Syria telling other countries to invest in Syria. To me, all that is let's give money to Syria so this way they could become Iran. I don't align with the president on this. I think he's making a grave mistake. And so my concern is that Mandami comes into the White House, shakes the hand of the president, said, let's make amends. We started off on the wrong foot. You're a major, important part of New York City. Your name is all over the place. I don't want to start like this. We need to protect the American people. I'm here, sir, to let you see that I'm a good man, and I know you're a good man as well. And Mamdani will throw fluff and ego-driven statements towards Trump, and Trump will be like, yeah, you know what? He's not that bad of a guy. He's not that bad of a guy. And he will give him security clearance. Because if you think Mamdami's going to walk into the White House and be like, listen, Trump, I think you're a freaking scumbag, and either you give me clearance or people are going to die on your watch. It's not going to happen. Oh, no, it's called Takia. Takia, you watch this. If Trump gives security clearance to Mamdani, not only will Trump lose the midterms hugely because his own side won't come out, but if you live anywhere on Long Island, if you live anywhere in the metropolitan area, you best have your eyes wide open at all given times. Because you're going to be seeing cells, and these people are going to be doing everything they can to take over your town from within. Absolutely. Do I think they're going to put off a bomb in Manhattan? No. Why would you blow yourself up when you've got when you own the city? But what they're going to do is they're going to continue to try to take over. They're going to create more mosques. They're going to attack churches. They're going to do everything they can to take over the school districts. You watch it. And Mamdani's going to know who they're watching and who they're not watching because he's going to get security clearance. And then when they're watching Group A, because Group A looks problematic, well, then the message through proxy goes to Group A and says you're being surveilled. Change tune, change course. So no, there's not going to, but Trump's going to get sold on the fact that, oh, we're going to do this so this way we don't have another 9/11. It's not 9/11 that they're looking for. They want civil jihad. They want to take over the country from within. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to right now play a man who seems to have his finger on the pulse. Trump is talking about more immigration. Every year for the last how many years has Trump said, we need more talent. We need to take in more talent. We need more people coming in. And I want to pull my hair out every single time and say, what's he talking about? Ron DeSantis, on the other hand, he's not talking like J.D. Vance. He's not talking like Trump. He's talking like DML. We've got to stop the legal immigration into this country. Here is a Ron DeSantis clip, which is, as far as I'm concerned, an advertisement for 2028. Go.
But, you have some strain on the right that says, oh, no, illegal immigration is bad. Legal immigration, no matter what, is good. And wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying any of it's that it's all bad or what, but is bringing 10 million people from like Somalia and dumping them into Georgia, is that good because it's legal? I think you have to think critically about what are we doing with an immigration policy, and is it benefiting the American people? Is it helping to promote a strong American culture? We should never bring people into this country who hate America. And when I look at like Mamdami's dad and listen to the stuff he's saying about America being the story, I'm like, why would we have wanted somebody like that to come I mean, especially if you think America is so bad. So we have to be smart. It's lazy thinking to say anything that's legal must necessarily be good. Some of these companies game these systems with bringing cheap labor. So there's a whole host of things, but don't do what Europe did. Europe did a mass migration that was legal, that was intentional, and it's proven to be disastrous. So as conservatives, we must think more critically. And the final thing that conservatives have to wrestle with is the proper approach to artificial intelligence. If you look at what's going on, it's a handful of very big companies that are driving most of this.
Let me tell you something. The only person who sounds more intelligent than that man on this particular topic is yours truly. Ron DeSantis has it. We must stop all legal immigration into this country because it is bringing in more dangerous people than anyone recognizes. Everybody thought just border. Right? You got to listen to the people who understand and know what they're talking about. Think about this for a moment. I repeat this on almost every show because I always know that there's somebody else new that's listening. I've been in this for 20 years. News and politics, immigration, border security, national security has always been my number one thing, not only because I lived and survived 9/11, but because I've made 4 films on this particular topic. I understand it like the back of my hand. Build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. Many people thought you needed a wall in order to protect America, and you didn't. And I've said you didn't. It's the salad that comes with the steak. The steak is to remove the incentives to come here illegally. And when you do that, when you don't let people put in phony asylum claims, you don't even need to have a wall. You don't even have to spray paint a line. People won't come. The other way of getting rid of these people? Get rid of the jobs. Don't let them have jobs. That's another topic. We're going to get to that in a couple seconds. We don't have a wall, but for 6 months, we have not released one illegal alien into the country. No catch and release. There you go. Proves my point. When you're taking in 1.2 million people, 1.8 million people legally every single year, when you're taking in 12 million people on visas, temporary visas, you cannot control what is coming into your country. And that's what Ron DeSantis is saying. The state of Texas, Ryan, get the B-roll ready. I'm going to show you a map here. This map represents 42 new mosques in the state of Texas in a 24-month period of time. I'm going to repeat this to you. There have been 42 new mosques built in a 24-month period of time. Look how close they all are. It is a cluster. It is an absolute cluster of mosques. It is all by design. It is all the plan. This is an updated map. This is the state of Texas. Arguably, up until Ron DeSantis made Florida great again, Texas was the number one stronghold for conservatism in the United States. Now it's becoming the number one stronghold for Muslims. And so, are you back on me, Ryan? So let me explain how it works. How many times have I told you? They're going to take over America from within. How do you do that? You take a location, you own that location, and then what you start to do is you start to spread out around that location. You build the center, and then you build the outskirts. Instead of a little over here and a little over here and a little over there, that's splintering. No, take the core, like they did in Dearborn. Take the core, make it so obnoxious for anybody who is not Islamic, and just keep on spreading it out like a cancer cell. Metastasize it. There you go. Metastasize it. That's Manhattan. Manhattan right now is basically a Muslim enclave. Wasn't like that 10, 15, 20 years ago, but now it is. Now they've got their mayor, and what's going to wind up happening is that is going to continue to breathe and expand, and it's going to expand into the 5 boroughs and Long Island. In fact, I just read one comment here. Somebody said, Dennis, there's a huge freaking mosque now in Lake Ronkonkoma, which is out there in boony Long Island, although Long Island doesn't really have any more boonies, but it's out there. And that's what they're doing. They're doing it. They're growing. They're growing. I just heard over the weekend, they're trying to build a mosque where I live. Let me tell you something. I went to the people who I know in this town are part of the planning. I am going to be the most loudest voice to ensure the fact that that doesn't happen here, because I understand what they do. They create an epicenter and then they just keep on spreading it. And the way they spread it is brilliant. They start doing things that you and I don't align with, that we can't take it anymore. 5 times during the day, you're going to hear through the loudspeaker. You're trying to sit in your backyard. You're trying to go to a park. You're at work and you got to hear freaking calls to Mecca 5 times a day. You know what you do? You put the for sale sign on your house. That's what you do. And they know that. And they just take it over and they spread it. That's what's happening. If you don't believe this, if you think I am over-exaggerating, well, we have a video that I'm just going to shut up for 2 seconds and let you play. It goes short. This is not what I'm about to show you anywhere in the Middle East. This is called the middle of Houston, Texas. Play. That's Houston, Texas. And so there you go. That's what's happening in the streets. You see it happening in New York. You see it happening in Dearborn. They are trying to make it happen everywhere, and they are moving rapidly. As I told you last week, oh, no, I didn't. I did it on one of my morning videos here on Facebook. Every day on Facebook in the morning, by about 8 o'clock, 8:30, I do a short morning video. And I was just mentioning how in the election that just happened with Mamdani, everybody was focused on Mamdani, right? Oh, my God, Mamdani, socialist, Muslim, blah, 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 blah. And so what winds up happening with that is that you lose focus on what's happening around the country. I mean, the lieutenant governor of Virginia, I mean, you want to talk about a slaughter? In Virginia, the Democrat won the race. The AG, who said that he wanted to kill Republicans and their kids, won the race. And the lieutenant governor is a female Muslim who wears the hijab. My goodness gracious. Across the country, there was, I think it was 75 or 76. Let's just call it 75, give or take a few on either side. 75 Muslims ran for office, the most ever, over 41. 50% of those candidates who were Muslim who ran for office won, whether it was a mayorship, whether it was a lieutenant governor, whether it was a school board member, whether it was a county commissioner. They are taking over from within. And we're giving Middle Eastern countries tickets to the kingdom. Trump's signing $1 trillion deals with freaking Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They're laughing. They're laughing all the way. They're laughing all the way to owning America. And it's not hard to see if you're not looking always at dollars and cents. I know Trump looks at dollars and cents, and I appreciate that. And he's a brilliant guy on many levels. But sometimes you got to stop being blinded by the almighty dollar and start answering to the almighty God. And when I look at this and I say peace in the Middle East, are you insane? These people are freaking designed to do one thing: wipe out Israel, wipe out America, take them both over, spread Islam across the world. It's not like this is a something I found under a rock and I'm trying to scream, oh my God, I found the prize, I found the bomb. They've put this out there. They say it and they say it out loud and we just ignore it. Nobody listens. You think there could be really peace in the Middle East? Watch this video right now of children being trained to hate Israel and the West. Go.
مهما طال الليل
وانا اسمي فلسطين
You think those kids are being trained to love Israel for peace? You think they're being trained in AI? You think they're being trained on how to grow a farm and feed your family? No, they're being trained on how to become terrorists. And we're inviting these people to the White House. We're doing deals with these people. Let me tell you what's going to have to happen. Because I believe if you say it and you believe it, it's going to happen. Do not lose faith. Which camera am I looking into? For as long as I have breath in my lungs, you have hope. Because I am not going to allow this to happen. I am allowing none of this to happen in a way that you will lose your country. It is a battle. It is a battle. And I believe we have people right now who aren't thinking very clearly about what the future looks like. They're more concerned about how the stock market looks today. Not me. Not Ron DeSantis. There are other people who think like me. And we're going to be the people who are going to wind up saving this country long term. You trust me on this. Everything that I'm telling you, everything I'm showing you on this show every single day is a warning of what is happening on a widespread level. Good news is it's still a pimple on the elephant's ass. It used to be a pimple you couldn't see. Now we see the big, huge zit. And before we allow it to spread into what will ultimately become a cancer, we will stop it. Trust me when I tell you, we will stop it. I'll leave my plans at that. Last one to show you. This is the sort of thing that I like to see. A barber in Minneapolis, sitting in his barber chair waiting for the next customer to come in. I give the description of this only for the people who are listening on the show and not watching. A mother in a hijab takes her kid in, her Muslim little child, and wants to get his hair cut. And the barber tells her, get the F out. Play it.
You don't do Muslims?
No.
Why you don't do Muslims?
Because of your attitude. You suck.
We suck?
You do.
I do.
Because you come to this country and don't behave yourself. You get the hell out of here now!
How do you...
Or I'll call the police.
You don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't
Well,
touch
then
me.
get out of here.
Don't touch me. Don't touch
Get.
me. Don't touch me.
Get.
So you're saying you're not doing Muslims?
No.
This is Trump America. You see that? This guy is kicking us out because...
You need to behave yourself. And then
How do you know if I behave?
Don't.
How do you know?
Get the hell out of here now.
You sick. You sick.
Get.
You sick.
Get.
Funny, I got I'm reading the stuff here on Facebook. There's a guy named Scott. I can't say his last name. Starts Scott Baranaki, I guess. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. He says, how are you going to stop it? Laugh out loud. First of all, you know what? If you want to be a little bit more polite, then I'll treat you like a gentleman. All right? Laugh out loud. You laughing about this guy? Big tough guy like you on your motorcycle? You laughing about this? You're losing your freaking country. What are you doing other than sitting on Facebook? I'll tell you how I'll stop something like this. Let me ask you a question there. Don't you think your president should be stopping this? Don't you think your president should be saying we got to stop H-1B visas? On Tuesday night at 7 p.m., Scott, make sure you tune into your Facebook. Come here. You're going to watch a mother. You're going to watch a mother for 2 minutes hold up the picture of her son, an 18-year-old boy named Joshua in Texas. He went to school, and one of the kids in his class asked him if he could get a ride. Joshua, being a nice kid, skinny little, tiny, scrawny little nothing, you'd crush him with your pinky. He says, yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. The guy he's giving a ride to is on a visa from Belize. He overstayed his visa. Prior to that ride home, just weeks earlier, the guy from Belize beat up his girlfriend. Even though he was 18, they didn't deport him. They released him. Well, the guy from Belize wanted Joshua's truck. So he took a rod and he beated Josh to the point so bad that he made him go blind. To the point of where the rod actually cracked in 4 different spots. Then after that, he took Joshua and he burned him to death. Then he tied him up like a pig, put him in the back of the pickup truck, and then drove around in his new truck. Yeah. You still laughing, Scotty? You still laughing? What are you doing to stop anything? Huh? You doing a Facebook Live? You dedicating your 7 days? Don't go laughing at me unless you want to laugh to my face. Whenever you give people a little bit of hope and people know that you're going to try to do something more for them than just count money, they have hope. If you don't like that hope, go listen to Ben Shapiro or go listen to Tucker Carlson and go have your Israel debate. Don't do LOL to me, man. Don't ever underestimate what I can do or what I'm willing to do to have my country get back on track. Okay? I could be sitting here having a really nice life today. I could be going to play golf, you know? I'm not. Instead, I'm sitting here doing a free video. Do not do LOL, sir. Thank you. Every show always lands with the crazy left. And today, the crazy left is a woman named Michelle Obama. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. I want to ask you, if I were to come on here and start making fun of the hair that is on black people, do you think I would pay a price of some kind? Advertisers, whatever it may be, would say, I don't want anything to do with that. But Netflix will give Michelle Obama millions and millions and millions of dollars. She's allowed to poke at white people. Yep. Here's Michelle Obama talking about her black hair and about how white people have set expectations for black people's hair. Can't make it up. Go.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just...
I could tell you a bunch of different things, but before I do, let me just say, at least Scott had some class. He wrote, I apologize in between in the video. Your apology is accepted, Scott. Thank you. Don't touch my hair. Listen, honey. Listen. If you were a criminal and I was a cop, I wouldn't even want to touch you to put freaking handcuffs on, let alone touch your hair. Yeah. That's it for me. Don't forget what I said, DML360.com for all the newsletters. Go in there. They're completely for free. Also, don't forget, podcast now, 9 o'clock every single day, Monday through Friday, here on Facebook, Rumble, Team DML, and the DML News app. You could download it for free from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And last but not least, like I said, you'll like this one, Scott. Put my money where my mouth is. I am literally selling my CBD at a loss, the Ferrari of CBD, because they're taking it away. The Republicans are banning hemp. I'm getting out because they are just such scumbags. They make it impossible. And I'm going to go out with a bang. Go in there, get stuff that usually costs $180 for 20, stuff that costs $70 for 20. Help yourself. I am trying to help as many people as I can. I've already made my money on this. It's my way of going out and saying you will not forget what DML did for you. Other people trying to take your money, telling you to go buy gold when they don't buy it themselves. I'm not doing that. DMLCBD.com. Every single item there for $20. I'm taking a bath, but you are going to feel great again. That's that. That's my way of saying I'm getting out because Mitch McConnell is a piece of crap, but you are going to benefit on the way out. That's that. Until tomorrow, God willing, we were supposed to have an interview tomorrow, but I just got a notification that I have to cancel with it. I think I'm going to bring Miss Mary on here tomorrow. Miss Mary is probably going to be the guest for me tomorrow at 9 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking a lot about the family unit here in America, faith, and all the other different jazz that means so much to all of us. Until then, God willing, God bless you, your family, our president, our vice president, these United States, and Scott for being a gentleman. We'll talk to you soon.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.